Welcome back to another episode of the Three View. Today we are joined by Josh Malin, who is the head coach of the Austin Ice Bats. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. You enjoying your summer?
Oh yeah, it's a hot one here. So
I feel that. So let's kind of jump right on into things. So last year was a landmark season for the Ice Bats. You not only had the best record in franchise history, but it was also the first time that you guys made the playoffs. Talk about how monumental of a season that was, not only for you guys, but the players that came before you as well.
yeah, it meant a lot to the program and the community around the Ice Bats to have the first playoff appearance in history for the program. We had a lot of previous kids from the past years with the Ice Bats. They were able to experience like the monumental turnaround and the success that like the culture and systems that we implement from like day one, from when Weston Mashad and myself and Joe Sundgren took over.
Mhm.
Those like core pillars, we were able to kind of understand the players at the individual level and develop plans, help them succeed from day one. So it was awesome.
And this will be your first year as head coach. Like you said, last year you were an associate coach with the Ice Bats. What does it
Mhm.
mean for you to continue that legacy into your first year as the head coach?
Yeah, it's great. I learned a lot from Weston Mashad last year. Had a lot of support from the community that
Mhm.
built around the team here in Austin. So like the buy-in from the Austin community was just amazing, surrounding and taking over the responsibilities from Weston and him going on to the Mallards. So it's been awesome.
And like you said, head coach Weston Mashad is now with the Mallards. So that proves that there's not only, advancement with our coaches, but with our players as well. How is that, message to the players with, look, we have coaches going on to the NA and players as well?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, there's opportunity out there no matter if you're at a player level, you're at a coach's level. Like, uh, the 3HL is setting up success for both players and coaches. Like, that's, the development model that, moving on to the NA and into college hockey. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And when we take a look at your playing career, you also played in the 3HL and then went on to college hockey. Having
mhm.
been there in these players' shoes, what is your message to those players as they look to also kind of follow in that same path?
Yeah, it's been a huge success. Like understanding the development model, like I mentioned with the 3HL into the jump of the NA is huge, as Weston Bashad knows, and we know from understanding from playing in the 3HL. Myself and my staff like understand like you have to connect with the personal level to be able to communicate, and allow these players to learn effectively every day. It just allows us to get the most out of the players,
Mhm.
day in and day out, to be able to take the step to either tier two or even college hockey, bigger, faster game. So,
And when we look at your roster from last year, you guys had one of the youngest teams in the league, and you still were able to come out so successful. What does it mean for the future, looking that you have such a large group of core players that are able to return?
yeah, going from the previous season to 32 wins is just a huge feat for the program and just a huge turnaround. We gave a lot of credit to the guys in the locker room. Like we talked about, like, building in 20 days from, a couple kids signed to
Mhm.
basically like, monumental turnaround overnight, basically for the program. It just like we gave back to the kids. The kids showed up to the rink every day and, be able to drive to get better and develop. And we had some great leaders in our core locker room with Gunnar Hillman, Daniel Sana, Eris Priority, Paul Weiss, and just Bryson Frazee, and individuals that potentially could come back to us next year or even go tier two. So they kind of even the guys in the locker room that set the pace without captain letters, to push the pace every day to grow, as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what does it say for the potential of next year's team, knowing that, some of those names that you just said could return to the program?
Yeah, it'd be huge, but ultimately we want them to make the jump to tier two,
Hmm.
ultimately, but like with those potential guys coming back, like that would be, setting the culture right then and there from the get-go. So, we have some new guys coming in that are gonna be able to set the pace right away, with Tyler White, Luke Fowler, and then we just made an acquisition for Jake Bamback and Grant Norwinski from El Paso. So
Nice.
guys that we didn't start our end our season with last year, but like are going to be able to fill in some big shoes for guys that have moved on. So.
Right. And then how are those veteran players able to set the tone in the locker room, whether it's returning players for the Ice Bats or, like you said, those new acquisitions who have junior experience?
Yeah, I think I think it's just maturity, coming in the locker room and understanding the expectations from, our side of things, and just how it is to be a pro, I guess, moving into real life or even into college
Mhm.
hockey, to be able to jump up into those locker rooms with older guys and, be able to fit right in and, solidify their spot. So.
And as we look forward to this upcoming season, what are some big goals that you have coming off of such a successful season?
I think it's just continuing to raise the bar from last year, like where we ended to where we want to end the season this year. We were proud of our group last year and where we ended with the youngest roster in the league
Mhm.
potentially. Competing and having 32 wins in one of the toughest divisions with Louisiana and stuff like that. So like it's just continue day in and day out for our organization is to compete every day and grow as individuals and fill the gaps in those games for some of the players, to make it to the next level. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on it a little bit earlier, but you guys have quite the community, gathering at at your rink for games day in and day out. When we look at the growing hockey market that is Texas, what do you think it means for younger players to see a junior program right here in Austin?
yeah, it's amazing. Since locating in Austin about 2 years ago, it's the buzz around Austin for hockey is just huge.
Mhm.
All if that's even from like the Texas Stars across the street all the way down to our youth program that we're involved with volunteering, you can feel it throughout the community that like, hey, oh, there's junior hockey here. There's potential to go from the youth program to junior hockey right away without moving away from home. Like
Mhm.
that's allowed our players to, follow their dreams that, maybe like they weren't able to before. So it's amazing. Like it's been a huge part of like why Austin's been successful in the last year. So.
Mhm. And then to wrap things up here, what are you most looking forward to for the 2025-26 season?
Oh, I'm just excited to get started. We're starting on September 5th against West Texas, so it'll be good to start at home this year and
Mhm.
have first game's off and running right at the beginning of September. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for hopping on this call today and good luck this season.
Yeah, thank you, Britt. Appreciate it.